just debating what to do. Speaking to Dave, that country koi bloke. As you know, I fitted retro bottom drain in the shallow end. I really need one in the deep end, but I've still got a 10,000 pump that I was running in the deep end anyway. So my plans was put the 10,000 pump, leave it in the deep end, run it all the way around the pond to the 3-stage filter. I'm concerned that 10,000 litres an hour will be too much. I'll flick around. 10,000 litres an hour will be too much for that filter. I don't know whether it'll overflow. Dave says keep the one that's on now because it's a decent flow in it. 3,500 litres an hour that one is. But I don't know if you can actually see that just below the water line. It's just hanging, that is. That was just for circulation to get that filter up and running when I was having all them problems last year. But I really need the 10,000 in the bottom of the deep end to obviously extract all the crap out the bottom. And on a previous video I showed you I got this T-piece, but I've run out of Jubilee clips, so I've got the Jubilee clips have come. Now they've both got taps on, so I can adjust the flow to the green filter. I don't know whether it'll put pressure on the pump doing it that way. The only thing I can do really, the trouble is once I take the 3,500 pump off, I've got to cut the hose tail. And if I can just show it over there, if you can see it, coming off the white collar on the filter, I've cut the hose tail on that, I've glued that in. So if I cut that small pipe off and put this 1-inch pipe on, I can't reduce them back down to that if it don't work. But anyway, the other thing is cutting all that pipe. Now you can see it folded up now the back of the filter. But here we go anyway. I'm going to do it. The pipes are all cut, them all ready. I've just got to join them on there, Jubilee clip over to the green filter, take that pipe off under that and then run it, see what happens. Before I rigged that filter up, this is what I was concerned about with the green filter. You see the moisture running down the pump. Now I've got that pump now running only on, I think it's 60%, 62%. Oh, I'll just catch up my thing, so it's on 60%. Now I'm going to show you the problem I've got now. I've run that down to 50%. I don't want to do this one-handed, but what's happening is now, and I can't understand why it's happening. I only cleaned this filter out yesterday. It's actually overflowing, and it's overflowing there where it should be overflowing through that letterbox there. You can see a fair lip all the way around that drum. I don't know whether you can catch the water there. I think it's just splashing off the lid. You can actually see a little stream of water, you can see it dripping off. So I'm actually losing water. Now I only done this yesterday, and now it's full to the brim already. I can't understand why it ain't working properly. I really can't get my head around it, and it looks like the outer rim's dropped slightly. You can see the brown rim, but there's only short, slightly below the brown you can see a white rim or a clean rim. And I'll probably be doing this every day. This is just getting past the job. But I'm going to have to clean it out now and I'll get back to you. So what I've done, instead of the centre pipe, if you look in there compared to previous days, the amount of algae, it's not showing a lot at all, but for some reason it keeps overflowing, and it's every day. So I've just dropped that water level down so I can flush it, and even though there's green around the vent on the drum there, there's still plenty enough room for the water to pass through. I really can't understand why I'm having this problem since I put this pump on. So now I've got the water pressure down to 50%. So I'm going to have to run that, because I can't really keep doing this every day. It's just crazy because I'm losing my water quality. I've got nothing in the pond, thankfully. But to keep flushing that drum out 2 and 3 times a day, I'll be doing the fish now good. I've got a 3-stage dechlorinator, as you all know, if you watched my channel before. But to keep doing this every 3 days, I'm going to have to change that dechlorinating cartridge every 3 days. You just can't keep running water continuously through the pool like that. I just can't understand why this filter ain't coping with it. So now I've dropped it down to 50%, the pump. And I'm going to test it with that and see what happens with that. I was just trying to rig the green filter up, and I just come in here just to check. And now I've got to obviously clean this again. But there don't seem to be any algae. I'll flick it back around again just a second. Sorry if it just said a turn. There's hardly any green crud. The green you can see is actually on the lid. There's hardly anything in the media. I really can't understand why it's reacting the way it's reacting. Now is it because the pump is directly on my filter now? The reason I put it on my filter is, I know that I've said it previously, if I put that pump in the pond, when I need to clean the retro bottom drain out, I've got to lift the retro bottom drain and the pump together. And with my pond, I've got no access. I've got no access to stand the side of my pool to clean anything. I've either got to stand in the pool and do it, which you'd only be doing that, or struggle trying to get it out the pool on that edge, on the slabs around the coping stones around the top. It's really awkward. So, like I said, I'm going to try it on 50%, clean it out today and see what happens then. I'm trying to get that green filter up and running as well. Just hold that flicky back on. Looking through the lid, there's hardly any green in it at all. And that's what I couldn't understand, why the centre's blocking him so quick. But if I flick it around again, it's absolutely full of it. And I've said before, this has got to be now 14 weeks for this algae. I'll just take it over to the pool. I'm on my 3rd container, the clover leaf. My water looks beautiful. You can actually see the clover leaf still on the shelf, and there's hardly anything. I don't know whether you can see it with the reflection. There's hardly anything at all you can see in that pond, even on the bottom. It's hard to see with the reflections, unfortunately. Again, I've got me trickling down that blue pipe there. I don't know whether I can catch you this side, whether you can see it, how clear the water is. It don't look like there's any algae, or hardly any algae in there at all. I really can't understand why it's clogging up so much. And I seem to be cleaning my filters out. Well, I know I am. Way too much. And as you know by my previous video, I cleaned that one out, give that a good clean. It's just baffling me. But anyway, back to cleaning this filter. What I've decided to do, I'm going to get all the K1 media out of the centre of my filter, get it into a bucket to see the bottom of the K1 is holding all the crap, so I'm only using half the filter. So I'm going to empty the K1 out the middle and see what it looks like. Thought I'd show you how I'm getting my K1 out. So I'm leaving the aerator on. I've got myself a riddle, and I'll be honest, I was thinking the K1 at the bottom may be holding the algae. If you look at that there, and I've already took quite a bit out. There's no algae in it, but I still want to get down to the bottom and clean it out. see if I can see what's causing it to block. You can actually see the algae bursting out that, so I'm hoping it is all in the bottom. I've also left it agitating, or bubbling, boiling, whatever you want to call it. So as it's cleaning it out, while I'm getting the rest of it out. Now, I've got quite a fair bit out, as you can see. And there's still quite a bit in. So we'll get it all out anyway, and then flush it out and see what's in the bottom. Hopefully nothing. I know that you've all seen this before, but what I'm trying to do now is flush that down and see if I can see what comes in the bottom. You can actually see how much it is. I didn't think there was that much in it. The outer chamber was quite clear. It's just the inner the stainless steel chamber. I just want to see if there's a lot of crap left in the bottom of the cage. So the water's nearly gone. I'm looking in that chamber there doesn't seem to be that much. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fill it back up, get the rest of that out, just so now I've given it a damn good flush. But there doesn't seem to be any in there at all. And if I show you what I've got out, it's actually boiling really, really well, which you can hardly see any in that media at all. It's now filling back up, and as you can see by that, there's not a lot of algae in there at all. So I'm still going to bring it all up. I'm going to empty the whole complete thing and flush it all out. Like I've said before. Well, here we go. You can see how clean that is. Now, it might be because I've been agitating it, I've been getting it out, which I suppose was the wrong way to check, but you can see that's clear. There's not any algae in that, so when it's bubbling up well. Like I say, I've defeated the object really. I should have turned the aerator off, got the media out, and then test chatting bubbles, then tested it. But I've got a bit of a problem with this. I don't know whether everybody else has got the same. It just seems to be moving about quite a lot. So I need to get this out and just check the legs on it while it's empty. So I'm going to drain it off, get this out and have a look. I found out what's wrong with the wobbly cage. I thought it was one of the legs that was coming loose. I don't know if you can actually see there is the drain hole. The cage over the time had turned and the foot was actually in the hole, making it wobble. Now it's nice and sturdy. And as you can see, that's spotless. And I've just pulled that pipe out and get a bit of a flush, and there's actually some media come out of it. Anyway, get it back filled up now, get it up and running. What I've decided to do, really you can tell that there, probably a quarter of that container there. What I'm going to try and do now, I'm going to leave the other half out. So I'm thinking there's that much media that I have enough room for the algae. So I'm going to experiment with that now and try that and see what happens. Because obviously if there's more room in that inner chamber, more algae, and see what happens with that one. So we're on Tuesday today, so I'll have a look at this tomorrow. I've turned the water flow down to 50%. I did speak before about putting a pipe in there with an elbow. to flow the water that way, which I think will help it stop it from coming up over this end. And on Mum I was saying to give it a better flow. But you can actually see, if you watch the water, you can see the crud circulating, so it is working as it should. But there's no way in this world I could go away anywhere and leave that running the way it's running, because I reckon I'd come back to an empty pond, or near enough empty. But saying that, I have got the float switch on, so if the water does go down, that pump will turn off. But obviously I'll have to redo the water in the pump, because I'd lose the pressure. So now I'm going to get over and put the Jubilee clips on the connection for the green filter. I've only got 20 minutes now before I've got to go and fetch Mason, so again, another day. I've just worked out, I've taken out 11 litres out to the centre. My inner chamber's got 42 litres, so that means there's 31 litres left in it. So my thinking is, because there's so much media in the middle, there's not a lot of room for algae. So by removing that, I can try and calculate whether it's because there's too much media in or not. So I'll leave it a couple of days and then I'll get back to you. I've not got to do Jubilee clips on, do the chatting bubbles on the other filter yet. I've got to go and fetch Mason from school in a minute, so I'm just going to tidy up now and give it neck for today. Finally, I'm going to be able to get round to connecting my 10,000 pump up to my green filter. As you can see, I've already joined them two. The waterfall, as I said before, I'm not going to connect it. I've just put some tape, they am stainless steel clips, but I put tape around them just to keep the water off on the sharp edges as well. The pipe's already run all the way around there. You've seen that before. I need to try and move the slab from there so I can drop that lower. It's just a matter of cutting that off and connecting the pipe, and then the big switch on. Come over to the green filter. I'll put my pipe in there ready to turn the pump off. Look at the amount of crap, algae, that's collecting. You've heard me say time and time again, it's either clean, it's the amount of good water that I'm losing. And you can actually see the flies on the top of there. That's showing me that the filter's mature. What I'm going to try and do now is, that's my waste pipe. I want to try and extend that now. I've got a piece of gutter in there, downspout, sorry. Put that across there, and then a piece of gutter in there. I'm going to put that on there and try and direct the water onto my grass, because when I flush it there, it's just ruining the garden. So I'm going to do that first, clean the filter out. So we've got a bit of mishmash of pipe work. The outlet pipe just behind that plant pot, in some downspout I got left over, an elbow, which is what I took off the inlet and my filter, into the waste pipe that I use in the Nexus, but I bought an original pipe now, and then down a bit of guttering, so I can hopefully move that about and direct it onto the grass. Let's go. There you go. Bit of a leak on that elbow. It's just all temporary. It's going down where I want it. I've also got a leak there, which I don't mind, as long as it's all going in the same spot. Sorry about the camera work again. It's overflowing onto the where Mason plays, so I'm going to mess about with that and then come back to you. As you can see, the filter is working a treat. You can actually see the algae now. I've dropped some of the water down. Absolutely baked in it. Just can't get my head round because it don't look like there's any in the pond. I've had to stop the water flow. You can see it on camera there, it's flooding it out, so I'll let that soak away a bit while I wash the jack matting and the brushes out. So there's the connector, all done. It is a stainless steel clip. I'll just put tape around that one, I don't know why, but I have. But they're all stainless steel. So what I've decided to do, as you all know by a previous video, I insert that into there. So I want to turn the pump off, the water in this filter, they'll run back down there and back into the pond. So what I've decided to do now with this one, rather than the water gushing out of there now, or rather, take that out, rather than the water gushing up there like in my Nexus, what I want to try and do, see if it works, is push that in there, pressure fitting elbow, if I can get it on top of there. Now what I'm hoping now is, sorry about the camera work, what I'm hoping now is that will give me a better vortex flow, and see what happens. And the other reason is to stop the water from gushing directly up to the lid like I'm having with the Nexus. I am considering buying another Veriflow pump, so I can adjust it. I don't know how. That's an Eco, Jibao Eco 10,000, and as you know I've got a ball valve over there to adjust the pressure, because I don't think this filter's going to cope with 10,000. I don't want 10,000 running through it. That 3,500 I've had on, what I had off my neighbour, has been running a treat. Why am I showing you the filter? So I'm about to turn it on now, get that water flowing through there and see what sort of pressure I got. Straight away you can see a better vortex. I'm hoping when that's full, that there is supposed to send all the thick waste to the bottom. That's the whole idea of that paste chamber. But I do think I'm going to need to turn that down, but we'll see. I'm going to run it for now and I'll get back to you when it's full. Okay, so it's up and running. I don't know whether the inlet is, that's on full power, that is at the moment, and I've got a cracking flow coming out of there. I'm just once that's blocked, that I got much to rise before it overflows. And I think I could have done with doing with that pipe being taller, but you can actually see the vortex working. Obviously the pond level now has dropped down. If you look at the edge over there, see the water flow, probably a couple of inches from the top. Working fine at the moment, but I think once it's blocked, what I could do with doing really is putting an overflow pipe in here somewhere so it drops back in the pond. I'm just going to turn it down and see what happens. I've been messing about with the flow for about 15 minutes. I've adjusted the height of that pipe there. I really would like it out the water if I'm honest, but I've wedged the plastic pipe inside the rubber sleeve that far I can't get it back out, so I'm going to have to settle for that, because obviously when I turn the pump off now to wash it, the excess water will go through that pipe back into the pond until I can find another piece of pipe. So I'm quite happy with that. Not much difference, probably about 3 inches. So it seems to be flowing nice, got a nice flow coming out there now. Just keep an eye on it and see what happens. Fish are all doing well. new addition to the plants. They'll look like they're doing too great, if I'm honest. Might be submerged too much. The new floaty one, as you can see, the one's not doing too good, but it's only been a matter of a couple of weeks. Give it some time, hopefully all that should fill. Quite happy with that actually. I need to stake it down because it seems to float under the bridge every day and gets caught up on the airlift pump that Vince made. You can see the white snorkel bit on the top. Someone would like to point out as well, Mr. Magna 007, because I've been messing in the pond with the bottom drain and the other pump. Obviously I've moved the stones, and he's advised me that is too close to the water returning, so it's stopping the flow. So I'm just going to move that further over. I try to keep my air stones to the side. I used to like them in the middle, but you can't view your fish. You can't view your fish very good. Obviously when you've got air stones, as you can see there, that's why I like to keep them to the side. And the reason on this side is so the pipe is shorter, rather than have pipes all around the pool everywhere. But that obviously will be turned off as soon as I get the air running on the bottom drain over in the shallow end. I'm just waiting for a fitting, so I can set that up. And I still want to run. I've got 4 little air stones that run in my Nexus, so I still want to run them at the same time. So at the moment, the green filter is looking okay. Left it now for 45 minutes or so. Quite happy with that flow. You can see now I've turned it down. Still got a vortex, but not as much as I was expecting, but it was working before anyway. So I'm quite happy with that now. Just topping the water up, and I've also moved my air stone back to the middle. Thank you all for watching my videos. I'd like to thank all my old subscribers for sticking by me. All the new subscribers that are coming along aboard. Really nice to know that people are watching my videos. So, the filter's up and done. See how it goes. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you like my videos, please share them. Subscribe to our channel. And as always folks, don't forget to polish our thumb. Until next time.